was just sitting here contemplating about like how I'm gonna pay back all my student loans because still have not devised a plan that's gonna work for me yet.
I knew it was gonna be expensive.
Are they just trying to keep this over my head for the rest of my life? Why not just give me a job that can pay me enough to pay this?
I cannot get a real job.
Lie on your resume. Nobody does background checks.
I thought we were all collectively not paying, and I was kind of just going along with that. Luckily, I just bought a car.
For the first time in 45 years, college graduates have a higher unemployment rate than the national average, which means that if you went to college, you are now less likely to get a job than someone who didn't. And on top of that, student debt now sits at $1.8 trillion, which is enough money to give every single human in America, from newborn babies to retirees, $5,400 in cash today. But how did we get here? Why has there been a 260% increase in student debt since 2006? And why are so many students now finding it almost impossible to get a job out of college?
I am a senior at Yale. I've applied to over 300 jobs. I don't have a job. The school is pretty expensive and I haven't been able to get a full-time job.
Welcome to the 2025 job market in the crazy decision of getting a college degree, where 18-year-olds sign on the line for a loan they'll be paying off well into their 60s, and a growing percentage of young adults in their 20s and 30s' first reaction to not feeling passionate about their job is to go back to school.
Me going back to school might have been really, really bad. I misunderstood the tuition breakdown. What I had thought was for 2 years was actually per semester. If there's any scholarships you can think of.
It's 1958 and the Soviet Union just launched the Sputnik satellite into space, marking the beginning of the Great Space Race. The US government realized that if they were going to compete with the USSR, they needed smarter and more capable citizens to build rockets. So they announced the National Defense Education Act, which was the first introduction of federal student loans. The goal of federal student loans was simple: help more Americans get college degrees to compete in the space race. For decades, this worked. College was affordable, loans were manageable, and graduates found great jobs. But then everything changed in the 1990s. While wages stayed relatively flat, college costs exploded by over 1,200%. Why? Well, student loans were easy to get and the government had removed borrowing limits, which meant that colleges could charge basically whatever they wanted. Students would just borrow more to cover the difference. It's basic economics. Unlimited money chasing limited spots equals price inflation. Meanwhile, guidance counselors, politicians, and teachers convinced an entire generation that college was the only path to success. Basically saying, get any degree at any cost and you'll be fine. Which brings us to today, where we have the most educated generation in history and they're struggling to find jobs.
I know it's like maybe cringe to come on here like crying or whatever, but I don't care at this point. I've applied to like 28 internships and been accepted to literally none. Literally none.
2021 was a great year to be an employee. Most jobs allowed you to work from home, and if you didn't like your job, it felt like everybody was hiring, which meant you had the leverage to ask for, say, and do whatever you wanted, and you still probably ended up with a job. All because businesses were growing faster than ever before and needed college graduates to fill the entry-level positions. But that all came to a grinding halt in late 2023. The technology sector that had done much of the hiring in 2021 and 2022 began eliminating thousands of jobs, and companies became a lot pickier with their hiring decisions. Because they had either been burned so bad by bad employees working from home, not actually doing anything, or they had seen how impactful AI could be and realized that they just don't need that many entry-level employees. Which leads us to current day in 2025, with college graduates experiencing a higher unemployment rate than the national average for the first time in 45 years. To make matters worse, college debt is at an all-time high, with the average graduate owing nearly $40,000 for the degree they might not even be using in their job today. All of this means that new graduates are now competing for fewer jobs while carrying more debt than ever. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the difficulty of getting a job in 2025. You see, college is supposed to be considered an investment in your future. Theoretically, the degree you get and pay for should produce a positive return on investment at some point in the future. This was largely true for the last 20 years, with students going to college to level up their skills, get an entry-level position, and then work their way up the ladder, paying down their loans. However, with the introduction of AI into the workforce, we are seeing a growing divide in the usefulness of a college degree. Those entry-level jobs that college graduates used to rely on, they're disappearing. Data entry, basic research, junior analyst roles, customer service. AI can now do all those jobs faster and cheaper, meaning that the jobs that were designed to provide graduates with the experience they needed in the field they were trying to pursue no longer exist. Which leads us to the chicken and egg problem of work experience, where entry-level jobs now require 3 to 5 years of experience.
I just graduated from college. Sorry, you need 3 years of experience. Actually, I was inquiring about the entry-level position. You need 3 years of experience for that job.
You see, AI isn't just eliminating jobs, it's changing the skills employers are looking for. Instead of looking for someone who can research information, they want someone who can interpret and act on that research. Instead of hiring someone to write basic reports, they want strategic thinkers who can use these AI tools effectively. And this creates a massive skills gap that college isn't really addressing, because most degrees still teach you to do the tasks that AI can now do better, faster, and for free. So if traditional college isn't preparing graduates for today's market, what actually works? The answer lies in understanding what employers really want to see. They don't care about your GPA. In fact, 75% of employers used to screen applicants for GPA, now only 38% do. Instead, what they care about is your practical experience and skills. Can you actually do the job, not just talk about it theoretically? This is where traditional education typically falls short and practical skill building shines. And that's exactly why I've decided to partner with Course Careers on this video. I think they've built the perfect solution to help anyone start a high-paying career without a degree or prior experience. Course Careers offers affordable online courses teaching you the actual skills employers are looking for in careers like tech sales, accounting, construction, supply chain, and more. Their courses are built to give you the real certified skills you need to compete in the job market today. And here's the kicker. Instead of paying $100,000 over 4 years to learn a bunch of theory, you can get job-ready skills for less than $500, which makes it the perfect solution for upskilling yourself to land your first high-paying job or change careers even if you don't have prior experience. One of the coolest parts about Course Careers is that you have the ability to focus exclusively on the skills you need to land a job and excel in it. College teaches you a lot of theory, but as we talked about, employers are looking for practical skills. So by using a tool like Course Careers, you can learn what the career is actually like, the tools that are actually being used today, and avoid massive amounts of debt in the process. Whether you're trying to decide if college is worth it or if you're realizing that the career path you're on is not going to get you where you want to be, Course Careers can help you quickly land a new high-paying job and put you in the position to exponentially earn more in the process. They have completely free introduction courses that teach you all about their different careers and exactly how you can land your first high-paying job with no experience or degrees. I highly suggest you take a look at their website, and I'll include the link to sign up for free down below. Now, unlike a lot of videos on the internet today, I'm not here to tell you to completely avoid college, because I do think there is a time and a place for it, but on a broad scale, I think that it is looked at in a completely wrong way. College is not designed to be another box you just check after high school along your path to progressing in life. It should be a well thought out decision, and you should be focusing on the ROI potential of your college degree. From the degree you choose to the actual college you're thinking about attending, it all feeds into the overall analysis of return on investment. One of the reasons student debt and unemployment are so high in 2025 is because there have been hundreds of thousands of students signing up for thousands of dollars in debt for degrees that have a negative earning potential, meaning that the degree they get has a less than 50% chance of making their money back in the long term. Imagine you spend $100,000 for a 4-year degree in psychology, all to end up with a starting salary of $44,000. And there's not one specific person to blame for this. Partially, it's the expectations that students have going into college and picking a degree because they think it will be fun or that they'll like the work, and they just expect to earn more because they have a degree. We see a great example of expectations not aligning with reality in this article from Bankrate, which compares the expected salary to the actual salary of new graduates. Or the pressure of social media convincing the younger generation that they need to follow their passion to find a job that they love. When the reality is, your first job out of college is gonna be rough, and that's just a fact. You're probably gonna hate it, but that's kind of the point. It's supposed to push you to try harder, learn faster, and progress your way up the ladder and open up more doors and opportunities for yourself. And if you do wanna be pickier about the job you get out of college, avoid taking on hundreds of thousands in debt. When you're under the stress of a massive loan payment every month, month, you're forced to just take any job that comes your way just so you can pay your debt off, meaning you can't afford to take your time in the job search and find a place that is actually a good fit for you. Here's the bottom line. The old college to career pipeline is broken. But that doesn't mean your career prospects are completely doomed. It means you need to be smarter about how you build valuable skills. Whether you're 18 and deciding on college or 28 and stuck in a dead-end job, the same principle applies. Focus on the return on investment, not just following what everyone else is doing. Ask yourself, will this investment in education or training actually improve my earning potential? Can I show real value to employers, not just a diploma? And most importantly, am I learning skills that will be more valuable in 5 years, not less? The job market rewards people who can solve problems and create value. It doesn't reward people who just show up at the door with a degree. So whether you choose college, a trade school, an online certification, or you just teach yourself, make sure you're building something employers actually want to pay for. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also like this video about the car loan trap that so many Americans find themselves in.